Hey folks, and welcome back to Backpack Travels. Today I'm diving into my top 5 and also my bottom 5 buses that I've travelled on during the numerous challenges I've been on in 2024. What do you reckon is going to get top spot? And what do you reckon is going to be at the bottom? Without further ado, let's get into it. First off, let's start with my criteria. I'm going to be looking at the onboard facilities. So that's your Wi-Fi, that's your USB, that's your onboard announcements. Then I'm going to be looking at the comfort of the seat. What's it like? Is it an ironing board or is it a luxurious first class seat? Cleanliness of the bus is important. There's no point having a lovely bus if there's cans of Coke bashing around or you can't see out the windows. Going to look at the ride quality, not just what the route's like, but actually how does the bus feel as it's going down the bumpy roads. Through that, it's going to give us an overall score out of 10. If you've seen my videos before, you'll know what's in number 1 spot. It's Harrogate Bus Company's Wright Eclipse Gemini 2s operating on the 36 route. These buses have it all. Skylights, insanely comfortable leather seats, USB power, Wi-Fi, onboard announcements in a great local voice, friendly drivers. The buses are incredibly clean, the liveries are beautiful. They've just got that wow factor. They're a 10 out of 10 bus. It is like travelling in first class. You sink into the seats and the journey just flies by. Not only is this topping my buses of 2024, I'm struggling to think of a better bus I've been on in the past generally. This is really the gold standard in bus travel, and I'm pretty sure if I take a trip on the new buses that have just been introduced on the 36 route, the Enviro 400 EVs in an even higher spec, I'm sure they've taken it up to an even higher level. Maybe if I get a chance to ride on them next year, we'll need an 11 out of 10. Number 2 on my list is the ADL Enviro 200 MMC operated on Kinch Bus's Skylink route. This is the bus that takes you from Leicester through to East Midlands Airport and up to Derby. This bus is scoring a great 9 out of 10. Reasons for this is mainly down to the onboard ambience. I think that these buses are uniquely suited to this route. You've got the luggage for those that are travelling from the airport, but you've also got that onboard announcements, and I think that's really important. If you're operating an airport service, there's going to be people who really don't understand the area, don't know where to get off, and this thing's got bilingual onboard announcements. Not only that, it's the only bus I've been on this year that's got wireless charging, which is great to see and should be on more buses. It's also got fairly decent comfort of seats. It's got a nice ride quality. It's back upwards and forwards, fast roads all day, and it seemed to have no issues at all. So yeah, a great improvement over the previous Citaros that were running on this route. Okay, and coming in at number 3, it's the ADL Enviro 400. Specifically, the ADL Enviro 400 that's operated on the X17 Stagecoach Gold route. I say that because it's the seats. It's the seats on this route that again make it on this one, 8.8 out of 10 on my ratings. It's a standard ADL Enviro 400, but it's got them nice Stagecoach Gold seats. Similar to the 36, you stick a lovely seat on the bus and I'm there, I'm down for it. So yeah, great bus. Also, you get the nice motorway journey, which is always a treat. But yeah, so that's in at number 3, the ADL Enviro 400, but the Stagecoach Gold model. Coming in at number 4, it's the MCV Evo Setti that's ran on Uno Bus's X10 route. This was a brand new bus for me. It's a triaxle bus and released in 2024. I'm not choosing this bus just because it's got purple seats, honest. It was actually a really nice bus to be on. The only issue with it is it didn't have next stop announcements, but other than that, it had free Wi-Fi, it had USB charging, it had decent quality seats, actually really comfy seats for the journey. The bus itself was spotless and clean, which I also found on the other Uno journey I went on that day. It just really was a nice overall bus, and I'm surprised we don't have more of these across the bus network. It does seem like a really good way of getting a high capacity of people from place to place. So yeah, that's the MCV Evo SETI coming in at number 4. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments if you've been on one. And lastly, in my top 5 is Arriva's Street Deck Electroliners, which operate around Leicester. Specifically, I caught it on the 50 route in my challenge, but I've been on it on a number of routes. These buses are brand new and part of a massive injection of electric buses within Leicester. They have onboard announcements, they have USB, they don't have Wi-Fi, which is common across Arriva buses at the moment. They do, however, have decent quality e-leather seats, which is quite rare on new buses, and the ride quality on these is probably what does it for me. They're electric buses, so probably it's controversial saying this, but you don't get that rumble of the diesel engine, and that just makes it feel like you're floating along. I quite like that feeling, but I know that's probably not the case for others. But these buses are just really decent quality buses. They feel like they're built to last. Yeah, so that's my number 5. Alright, so heading into my bottom 5, and the first one that we're going to look at is the ADL Enviro 400. And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, hang on, I stuck an ADL Enviro 400 up in the top 5. In fact, it came in at number 3. But this is the ADL Enviro 400 in standard Stagecoach livery, not the Stagecoach Gold version. These just have the horrible, uncomfortable Stagecoach seats. They have that really common now Stagecoach maquette that just makes me feel like I'm back in the early 2000s. There's no onboard facilities as such, no Wi-Fi, no USB, no onboard announcements. They're just feeling a little bit shoddy and rattly now. They tend to operate on some of the older routes, which probably doesn't help, and the ones that I've been on recently, in specific the 59 route, it was just quite dirty, to be honest. Not a lot of love, and it just needed some TLC. It's an old bus, but you can make old buses look decent, as other companies have shown in my travels. So yeah, that's the first of my bottom 5, the ADL Enviro 400. So the next bus actually occupied 2 spots in my bottom 5. It's the Wright Pulsar 2, single decker buses operated by Arriva. The ones in particular that were in my challenge was the Arriva X12 up in the northeast and the Arriva X3 in the Midlands. These buses just felt unloved. They are rattly, the ride quality was bad, onboard facilities obviously for an older bus non-existent. The seats were of okay quality, but it was mainly the ride quality on these 2 buses that really let it down. Just rattly, panels falling or not tightened. Yeah, just not great. It seems to be a common theme I found with a lot of the older Arriva buses, in that they also weren't cleaned a lot, both inside and out. It felt like maybe Arriva are only focusing on their newer buses and leaving the older buses to maybe go weeks and weeks without any love and care, which is not great. So yeah, operated by Arriva, the Wright Pulsar 2 occupying 2 of the bottom slots. And coming last but one is the ADL Enviro 300. I only travelled on one of these throughout my whole journey, and that was on the X7, a Stagecoach route between Leicester and where did it go? Northampton, that's where it went. Main issues with this bus were lack of onboard facilities. It's quite an old bus now. Not only that, it was just dirty. The ride quality was poor on the routes we went over, but it was just dirty, and I can't understand why buses just aren't cleaned on the outside. You've got bus washes, use them. Nobody wants to sit in a bus that is absolutely filthy, and this was the first bus of the morning so it had no excuse. So that's in at my bottom but one, the ADL Enviro 300. And lastly, bottom of the list out of all the buses I travelled on in 2024 is an Arriva bus. Shock. In particular, the Arriva bus that ran on the 7 route, which was between Durham and Darlington. This bus is the Wright Streetlight DF, and it just felt shocking. And it's the ride quality on this bus that really does it. I'm sure if it was possible, I would have been shook apart like the rest of the bus. It just was rattly panels galore. It really was. It just felt like it wasn't loved. There was rubber bits hanging off the windows, floor was dirty, the seats weren't particularly comfortable. It was just a horrible bus, to be honest. And these aren't that old of buses, but they just don't seem very well put together. So that's the Wright Streetlight DF, bottom of the list. What do you think? Have you been on this bus? Is it just the one I went on? Let me know in the comments below if you think it's worthy of my bottom. Yeah, that is the bottom 5. I think I've also got 2 honourable mentions. These are buses that haven't scored that highly, they're in the mid-table, but actually I thought they were really decently presented buses, and that's Hodgson's MCV Evora that I took on the 159 service, and Trent Barton's Comet, which is a Wright Eclipse Urban. These 2 buses don't have all the features in the world, but actually they were so clean, well presented, and again, really friendly drivers, which kind of makes up for the lack of all the other stuff. So yeah, they're my 2 honourable mentions. Again, if you've used these services, what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. And there we have it, folks. That's my top 5 and bottom 5 buses of 2024. Is your favourite bus in the top 5, or have I been really mean to it and put it in the bottom 5? Let me know in the comments down below whether you think I've been too harsh or I've just been really nice about a bus that you think absolutely sucks, because I'm sure it's all really subjective. Lastly, I just want to thank everybody for all your support over the past couple of months doing these bus journeys, and keep your eyes peeled in 2025 because I'll be doing some more of them. And the best way to keep yourself informed and ready and waiting for that is to click that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything at all, but it does mean a massive amount to me because it just shows that there's people that really want to watch these kind of videos, and that's really quite humbling, to be honest. So yeah, thank you for all your support over 2024. This is out a little bit late and we're into 2025, but yeah, keep your eyes peeled, more bus journeys on the way.